Hey everybody, this is Jeanette from Sequoia View Stables, and this is Honey, and today on How to Horse, I'm going to teach you how to safely walk around a horse. So horses are prey animals. That means they have a couple of different features. They have the eyes on the side of their head, which helps them see in quite a big radius around their body. And they have a couple of different features when it comes to predators. They have fright, which means they're nervous about something, and they'll stand and watch, or they'll jump a little bit. Flight, which means they'll run away, or try to run away if they can. Or fight. That means if they have the option, if they have no other options, then they will stand their ground and they will fight. Fight to save themselves. So, with that in mind, horses have their eyes on the side of their head, which means they have limited viewing capacity in the front, directly in front, and directly behind. So about a foot in front of her face is about where she can't see. It's a blind spot because her eyes are on the side of her head. Her eyes will cross to be able to see directly in front of her. So about a foot in front is where she starts losing the vision. There's a blind spot right here. Also directly behind them, because their eyes are on the side of their head, as soon as they get past their hips back here, they lose vision directly behind. So we always want to make sure that we don't stand directly in front unless we're touching, or directly behind. A horse's brain does not really connect in the middle. The center part of your brain, the part that connects the two halves together, is called the corpus callosum, or the corpus callosum. And that connects the right side of the brain to the left side of the brain and sends signals back and forth. Well, horses don't have that very well developed in their brain. So what happens on one side is a brand new experience that happens on the other side. That's why we train things on both sides. And it's a new experience on both sides. So that's why some horses are called two-brained, because what happens on one side doesn't connect to the other side. So we have to train for that. And just like training for that, just like walking around a horse, we want to make sure that they have the ability to connect what happens from one side to the other. So when you're walking around a horse, you want to make sure that they're able to see you, or that they're able to know where you're at all times, because part of being a prey animal is they're afraid, right? That's one of their first reactions. So with a horse, you always want to stay as close as possible, not right up on top of them, because then that would be weird. But you want to stand like within a foot or so of them, and you always want to keep a hand on them. That's so that way they have a physical touch of being able to know where you're at. Because she is so big, I want to be able to be safe. So when I stand close, that means if she's going to potentially kick or try to get me, that the most that she can do is just bump me with her body or hip check me with her hip, as opposed to giving me a big karate kick and sending me flying across the barn. So, especially with these big back legs, huh, honey? Yes. Okay, so when you're walking around a horse, you always want to make sure that you have at least a hand on them, a brush, something that you've got that is touching them, so that way they can connect what they're seeing with what they're feeling. Okay, and with Honey, I'm going to put my hand on her. I'm going to keep my hand on her back, and we're actually just going to walk backwards and tell her, Honey, I'm coming around. So I'm going to come around, I've got my hand on her butt, and that way she knows as I'm coming around, I'm giving her an audio cue. I'm coming around. I'm giving her a touch cue. My hand on her. And I'm also giving her the visual cue of me going from one side to the other. So now I'm going to go back. We're going to put my hand on her. Honey, coming around. Good girl, nice job. I keep my hand on her all the way around. Just like that. Nice job. Good girl. Right. So remember also, when you're walking around the front of the horse, you don't ever want to go underneath, because this big heavy head is really heavy, and you don't want to be underneath here if they freak out. Just like not being able to see directly in front to about a foot, They also can't see directly underneath them, underneath their head. So you want to make sure that you're safe. And if you're going to be going around the front, make sure that you go around the front where they can see you. Good girl. Good girl. Good job. Okay, honey, coming around. Good girl. Okay. All right. Well, I hope this helps you guys learn how to safely walk around a horse. If you like what you saw and you'd like to learn more, click subscribe down below. You'll be notified of all of our videos that we post. If you have anything that you'd like to see, please put down in the comments what you'd like to see for our next video. We'll be seeing you. Enjoy the ride.